Welcome back. I believe we are up to part 7 now. So last we left off, I had a couple of days exploring Carnarvon, got my car sorted. Mostly there was still a few little bits and pieces I needed to do, and I had my eyes set on Exmouth. So first stop on the way to Exmouth was Warra Station. I reached Warra Station and they were very happy to have me there. They put me straight into a room where I could do my massage out of, and quite a few of the staff booked in pretty much straight away for a massage as well, so that was really awesome. I then started doing some much needed maintenance on my car, so I'd bought some epoxy putty in Carnarvon to fill in these holes in my bull bar. So these holes are from when I removed the rock sliders from my car back in Geraldton. So I didn't actually realise how quickly this putty hardened, so I mixed it all together at once, and by the time I'd filled in the first hole, the putty had already hardened and I wasn't able to use it to fill in the second hole. So I'll need to buy some more to fill in that second hole, and I also need to figure out how to kind of sand it back, neaten it up, and also figure out what I need to be able to paint over it so it blends in a bit better with the bull bar as well, of course. That hardens really quick. That is too hard to mold now. Damn, well, I guess we see how the other one goes, and just gotta buy some more dart. I also needed to replace 2 of the bolts that had come loose from my bash plates, so you can see me doing that. And while I was at it, I also decided to test all the other bolts to make sure that they were nice and tight, and found that there was also a third one missing, so I also replaced that while I was at it. After doing those 2 chores, I decided to start going for a bit of a drive and explore the area, and was hearing some rattling coming from atop. So it turns out that one of my roof bars ended up being a bit loose, so I tightened that up. And then other than that, there was also a bolt that screws into the bars that connect my roof box to my roof bars, and one of those bolts had actually eaten through the roof bar because they're only made of like an aluminium, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get it back out, so I've just used a strap to kind of tighten it in place, and I'm going to deal with that at a later date. I'm probably going to have to take the roof box off to make some room to pry open the hole a bit more and get that bolt out. And then what I've done when it's happened to other sections of this roof bar is I just get some washers to kind of make that surface area larger and put that bolt back in. So yeah, it's eventually I'm going to have to just replace my roof bars for something a bit more sturdier, I think. I then decided to go and visit this little beach that Marty, the owner of the place, Warra Station, recommended I visit. It's Veronica Vista, a little bay that at low tide there's this beautiful little rock pool that you can go swimming in, and read my book on the beach, and it was just a beautiful spot to relax. I noticed a bit of a split in one of my tyre's sidewalls, and talking to a bloke that was also camped up at Warra Station about it, he ended up giving me a patch repair kit for my tyre. So unlike a puncture repair kit that is made for punctures, this is made for more cuts and splits in your tyre that are leaking air, because puncture repair kits aren't quite big enough to repair them. So it's really just meant to get you from A to B until you can get a new tyre. My tyre wasn't leaking any air, but I thought I might as well use it, because at the very least it might reinforce the tyre a bit and just prevent a possible mishap on the way to Exmouth, where I was going to get my spare tyre replaced anyway. I spent a day exploring all the beaches north of Warra Station on their map that they hand out, and eventually settled at Pelican Point to just relax in the sun and read a book. It was really cool because there was a sheltered little swimming spot there, and I also came across some whale bones which apparently washed ashore about a year ago, so it's really cool that there's still some there for you to see as well, even after a cyclone has been through the area. On my way to Warra Station, about an hour out, I came across a family on the side of the road who had blown a tyre and they needed a spare. They tried calling their insurance company from my phone because I had better reception than them. Unfortunately, it was going to cost them quite a bit to be able to tow their car back to Carnarvon, where they needed to get into Exmouth. I offered to give one of them a lift to Warra Station to see if we could find someone that had a spare tyre, or figure out what else we could do to help them out. And turns out that we found a lady at Warra Station who had an all-wheel drive with a tyre that fit their car. So we drove that tyre back to their car where it was parked on the side of the road, put that on, and then they were off to Exmouth. My next stop was also Exmouth, so I ended up meeting up with them for a couple of nights, and they were kind enough to cook me dinner, and she also booked in her partner for a massage while I was there. On top of that, I also picked up the spare tyre that they had borrowed, and I drove it back to Warra Station for them, as I'd had some clients booked in there, so I was heading back that way anyway. It felt really good to help some people out after so many people have helped me out since I've been on the road. Should I be buying myself a $13 cookie? Absolutely not. Did I buy myself a $13 cookie? Yes. Yes, I did. After buying myself a yummy treat, I had 4 days to explore Exmouth. So I did the walk trails. I started with Yardie Creek Walk Trail, and I also did the Mundu Gorge Walk. I saw fruit bats, and I also saw quite a few rock wallabies, which you could get pretty close to take photos of, which was really cool. So yeah, both beautiful trails. I also spent my time exploring along the beaches, and I also decided after visiting the oyster stacks that I should probably go buy myself some flippers, because at oyster stacks there was heaps of people in the water, so I decided to get my swimming goggles and go for a swim, and there were so many fish, so I got myself some flippers. I also bought a little pouch for my phone so I could try and take photos and videos while I was in the water, and started exploring some of the snorkel sites. So that was pretty new for me. I haven't done any snorkeling before, and it was really awesome. At first with my phone camera, I couldn't take very good quality photos or videos, but I found if I use 0.6 zoom on video, it seems to capture things pretty well, enough for me anyway, and to share with my friends and family. I don't have any access to any freshwater swimming spots or showers, this is my shower setup with my car. So it plugs directly into my 12-volt car system. It pumps water from the bucket. I just use cold water, but if I wanted to, I could heat up some water and add that to make it a warm shower. But yeah, it's pretty simple and it does the trick. I also use all natural products, so when I am showering like this, I'm not negatively affecting my environment in any way. I got into Exmouth on a Saturday and I needed to sort out 2 new tyres for my car. However, when calling up the shop, they said that they couldn't order any tyres in until Monday and they didn't have my tyre size in stock. So on Monday, I got up bright and early and watched the sunrise, which was beautiful from the lighthouse. And then I headed into town. So got the tyres I needed ordered in, and then I continued to explore a bit closer to Exmouth main town, and I checked out the Bajira Loop Walk Trail and Thomas Carter Lookout. This was such an awesome spot that I just had no idea existed in Exmouth. I ended up processing quite a bit of emotion on this hike. I think there's a bit of a pattern coming in play with me when it comes to hiking up to these beautiful places, but I feel like there's something healing about them that just opens up and allows me to process and let go of stuff I'm holding on to. So it was a really beautiful hike, but it was actually quite emotional as well. After my hike, I went into town where I bought my flippers, and I went to Mauritius Beach to bathe in the sun for a bit, and then I went and explored and did a bit of snorkeling down at Lakeside, I believe. The day I was waiting for a call that my tyres had been delivered, I was just kind of cruising around Exmouth, so took the opportunity to check out Pebble Beach and take some photos next to the giant prawn as well as the whale shark statue they've got there. I got the call that my tyres had been delivered, however they couldn't put them on my car until the following morning, so I took the opportunity to go check out Osprey, where I heard that you could see turtles, and lucky enough I saw 2 turtles during my swim. I also saw a stingray and a little sea snake as well. Not this guy, he's just a little pipefish. I didn't get the sea snake on video, unfortunately, but it was so cool seeing the turtles because this was my first time seeing them in the wild and not just, behind glass or at a zoo. I decided to spend the evening at Mangrove Bay to watch the sunset, and when I was there I noticed that I had a leak coming from my front driver's seat. So it turned out to be my water jug, which is in my back seat, and it was dripping and leaking into the trim of the door, which was then trailing like a river down to my front seat because it was on a bit of a lean. So luckily it was an easy fix, just used a lot of paper towel, but wasn't anything serious. But yeah, luckily cleaned that up and got that sorted and was still able to watch the sunset. I had another early morning sunrise wake up to get my car into the shop to get its tyres changed, and then I went towards Coral Bay to spend the day there and let down my tyre pressure before going to Five Fingers for a bit of a snorkel. I unfortunately have to be using this manual tyre gauge because my digital one is reading wrong. So at this one it was saying 5 psi and my digital one said my tyres were at 15. However, I knew that was not 15 psi by looking at it. But either way, we got in and got to Five Fingers, where I went for an awesome snorkel, and I came across another turtle where I took some of the best photos and videos that I have of a turtle so far. I then got to explore some of the dunes around Five Fingers. I actually thought I was heading back along the 4x4 track towards Warra Station, however I actually went in the wrong direction, so I did get to enjoy a bit of 4x4ing. However, I did have to get back onto the main road to go back towards Warra, unfortunately, because my sense of direction did not do me justice on this day. But it was still fun to have a bit of an explore around, and once I got back to Warra, I had a couple of clients that were booked in. I returned the tyre that was borrowed, and yeah, then settled in for the night. When visiting Warra this time, I was just there for one night, but I got to meet this adorable little baby cow before saying goodbye and making tracks towards Karratha.